Hi, everyone. I'm Christopher Thornycroft with Redwood Logistics, and welcome to the Redwood Rundown for the week of June 5th, 2023. We're into June. June usually is a big season full of produce, food and beverage, and really a lot of accelerated freight volumes. But you know what? We're not really seeing it right now. We're looking at the PMI. That's the Purchasing Manager Index. You've heard us talk about it a little bit before. Well, that index is sitting at 49.6. That's down 0.2 of a point, down from 47.1 the previous month. This means that we are seeing contraction and slowdown in manufacturing, which leads to durable goods. A lot of people link the PMI directly to LTL shipments, but in general, you can link the PMI to the larger freight volume picture. And what we continue to see is that customer inventories are still too high. Those are staying at 51.4, so that means that those are expansive and they're too high. We're seeing that new orders continue to tick on down. New orders at 42.6. That's a really low number. That's one of the lowest numbers we've seen for that in a long time. We also are seeing the backlog of orders down at 37.5. That means there's not a lot of old orders to chew through. So all in all, we are looking at, again, the future headwinds for freight volumes continuing to add. Other than that, when we take a look at contract rates, we continue to see the contract rates are down about 15% year over year. That still says to us, though, contract rates still have further to fall. The amount of freight that's moving via contract right now is keeping these carriers in the game. And right now, if you are a large carrier and you're hauling contract freight, and that is the largest piece of your business, you're doing okay. But if you are a carrier that does not have that contract footprint, this is pretty close to the worst of times for you. Now, the big one out there, the ILWU. We've talked about this before, the International Longshoremen and Warehouse Union. They went off the job site on Friday at the Port of Los Angeles, Port of Long Beach, and other ports across the West Coast. We know that as of today, that the Port of Long Beach did not have the ILW working. This is a shot across the bow, as negotiations last week for their new contract went awry. Most importantly, it's worth noting that those conversations had been actually going pretty well up until the point that we got into the conversation about compensation. Compensation is really sensitive. The fact that broke down the negotiations doesn't really bode well. And there's going to be a lot of pressure to drag the executive office on into that, as importers and exporters alike are going to look at this with a lot of nervous trepidation, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. How will this impact the freight market? Give it a minute. That's the best advice that we have for you at this point in time. Don't make any rash decisions right now. Watch and see how this is going to play out. We'll see you next week. I'm Christopher Thornycroft. Thank you very much.